Has anyone ever seen Shark Tank or Dragon's Den?
Remember, you can put important stuff up front, like your money. Okay.
Well, these shows are all about investing to startups. They give money for a percentage of the company in return. Normally it's a stake. No, not stake. I mean stake like company power and shares, or in some cases they even give royalties. In Roblox, investing into games or groups is pretty similar, so let's talk about that. Hey, what's going on guys, Baker Poutine here, back on Lettuce Garden, here to talk about investing in Roblox and how to attract and find investors. Investing in Roblox is quite simple. An investor finds a game or group that they deem potential. They then negotiate the benefits of investing, such as revenue payout percentage, in-game benefits, and stuff like that. And after that, they give the money or Robux and expect a return. That's pretty much investing in a nutshell. It's not, however, the same as donating. Donating is just giving money or Robux without expecting a return. So how do you find an investor? Well, there's a few things you're going to want to make sure you have, such as a game made or almost finished, a plan, a monetization system, and finally the deal. Without those four things, investors will most likely not invest, so it's better be safe than sorry to have all 4 requirements checked. So let's talk about each requirement. First off, investors seek potential games and groups. By having a game already made, you're showing the investor that you've already committed to the project and that they can at least test out the game to see if they like it. Without the game, however, that'll be more complicated, as the investor doesn't know if they want to invest into an idea or if they know you can actually commit to the idea. Furthermore, if they spend all this money on your game to be made and it doesn't finish, they've just wasted a lot of money for no reason. So for those reasons, it's a good idea to have a game made or almost made when talking to investors. Next, you need a plan, a strategy. Investors need to know if you have a plan. Where do you see your game in the next month, 2 months, or 3 months? How do you plan on making the game more interesting? How do you plan on marketing your game? Investors want to invest into games that have a future, games that have true potential. Sure, they may invest into simulators, but that's highly unlikely, as most games nowadays are just that, simulators, unoriginal, bland, really bad gameplay. They normally make a lot of money in the first week, but die out after that week. So no, investors won't generally invest into games that have no future. Well, good investors won't. So have a plan in the future for your game. Next, investors only think about money. Money, money, money.
How much money do you have in sales?
If they can make their investment back and more, they will for sure invest into your game. By having a monetization system in place, you are showing the investor they can make their money back, and maybe even more. If not, you're pretty much telling the investor it's a donation and not an investment. But make sure you're not making your game pay to win. Nobody likes that. Investors may like the money, but we'll see no one will play the game because it's a pay to win game, so they won't invest into your game. However, you should still have some game passes and maybe even a currency system, just as long as you don't make it pay to win. And if you have the game passes and currency system and your game idea is good, I guarantee you an investor will invest into your game. Finally, we have the deal, the most important part of any investment. If you watched Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, you'll know exactly what I mean. Investors want to know how they'll make their investment back. In Roblox, this goes by revenue payouts, or another word for royalties. Generally, the more you ask, the higher the percentage should be. But after watching a lot of Shark Tank, talking about business with my dad, who's actually a really successful entrepreneur, I know, and I will tell you how to properly calculate your percentage, aka your worth. It's honestly quite simple. Just rally up all your assets, account each and every one of them to get their worth. When you have their worth, you can then factor in the week's projection. Normally in business you go for 3 years, but in Roblox we go for 1 week. And that's your worth. And then you find out how much you need to make in reality, divide that by the worth, and boom. Alright, if you don't understand what I just said, I'll explain it a lot easier with an example. Let's say your game took $1,000 to make. Let's convert that to like Robux real quick, and you get 285,714 Robux. Now that you have your game's worth, let's factor in the week's projection. But oh wait, how do I know my projections? This one's tricky. How I would go by is by looking at how many monetization assets you have. Then give a good guess of how many people would play your game in one day with the investment. So let's say for the purpose of this video, you get a 100,000 Robux investment and you put that all into advertisements. At the end of the day, you get about 20,000 visits and I don't know, maybe 25,000 Robux in revenue the first day. So now we have how much your game is worth, how much your investment was, and how much you made in the first day. Take the first day revenue, multiply by 7 because 1 week is 7 days, and you get 175,000 Robux. So take the worth, which is 285,714 Robux, plus the week's projection, which is 175,000 Robux, and you get 460,714 Robux. That is the total worth of your game. To calculate the percentage, take your investment and divide that by the total worth of your game. For this example, we got 0.2171. So let's make that in percentage and we get 22%. And voila, a proper investment deal with good numbers. Just keep in mind the numbers you use may or may not exceed your expectations. They may very well be poor. If you want to prevent this, run a small ad, maybe 1,000 Robux, and see how much you made that day. Then multiply the revenue of that day by 100 as your investment is 100,000. And there you go, use that number in the calculations. Alright, enough chattering now. How do you find an investor? I'm pretty sure that's why you all came to this video. How do you find an investor? Investing is a very risky thing to get into, but it can profit you a lot. However, it may not be that hard for you to find an investor after all. Like I said before, if you checked off all 4 requirements being the game, the plan, the monetization system, and the deal, you're good to go to find an investor. There's a show on YouTube called Road Tank, and it's based off of Shark Tank, and it's ran by the Dev King. What it is, it's a group of rich Roblox users who invest into Roblox games. However, I do have to say this, you may get lowballed and end up with a bad deal for you. So make sure you have your numbers correct. If you have all your numbers, your game, and everything we've talked about, and your game ID is actually good and the game itself is good as well, I guarantee you will walk away with an investor. I know people have gotten investments from that show, so I can tell you it's not like a scam, so you don't have to worry about that. They also give you some advice on stuff, so even if you don't end up getting an investor, you will still walk away with knowledge. Oh, and of course, you also have the Latest Gardens investment channel. Make sure you list out the game idea, the game link, and benefits and the deal for the investor. Well, everyone, I hope you learned something today. I can't wait to talk about monetizing your game in the next episode. And take care.